What is up YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and this is episode 37 of All Hail the King. In this video we're going to be featuring the newest Spec Ops reward hero, Blade. He's a character that has many possibilities as far as team-ups are concerned, so it was very difficult choosing only 3. But all that means is we're just going to scratch the surface with this video, and there's going to be room for a lot more Blade videos in the future. Before we begin, I do want to urge you to check out the corresponding podcast either at www.thehelicarrier.com, or you can click on the link in the description below. Then one other thing that I did want to make everyone aware of is the fact that I did a setup video for this episode. If you missed that video, I'm going to put a link on the screen right now and also in the outro. Basically what it is a setup video showing everything I use for my team ups, and by the way it also includes Hero ISO 8 builds. That's something that I want to do for future episodes of all my series whenever time permits. So make sure you go and check it out and subscribe to my second channel, that way you can catch all my setup videos. In this first team up I'm using a variation of my Invincible Agent setup, and then we're also using Blade and Drax. These two heroes of course have a bleed connection, and if we can land any hit on the enemy, these two can set each other up. But no, even though I would have liked to land those hits, it wouldn't have mattered because of Mystic Shroud. Unfortunately with this team up we don't have any removal, and that's definitely one of our weaknesses. It's really going to hurt when Magneto uses his magnetic field, but hey, we'll just have to power through it. So there you do see our biometric heal, and next for the Oni Breaker, well, we end up hitting 2 out of 3. Psylocke's apparently going to dodge everything, but just check out how little damage we take. Our agent is pretty close to invincible. On top of that, we're now using the Infiltrator power armor, so we're going to counterattack these nasty tacticians. I can tell you one thing, there's certainly no shortage of them. Then after using Cry for Blood with Drax, I'm going to use Daggerfall on Magneto. I'd really love to take him down before he can shield the enemy team. So even on Blade's turn, we're going to go ahead and target him. And yes, we do get a follow-up attack. So at least that Infiltrator Psylocke did something good for us. And on top of that, we do gain the quickening because we used Dead by Dawn. The best part is Magneto is finished, and now we have a 3-on-2 advantage. Our agent does get hit with the Brute, so that puts an end to our healing, but we also get to counterattack. Also, by the way, the scroll will not remove quickening. So really, that's all I'd be concerned about. And after another very little hit damage-wise, we're going to get a second counter, but unfortunately the enemy agent does dodge. So our only option now is to use the Guardian, which is okay, but it's not going to one-shot anyone. Well, the team of dodgers keeps it up so we don't even get any damage at all. Well, I can already tell you this fight's going to last a long time, sheerly because they dodge so much. But let's try to get that agent set up to where Blade can at least take her down. Okay, we do have a slight problem now that she has a shield, but hopefully this counterattack does hurt Psylocke. That is, right after a biometric ID card attempted heal, but it still gives us stamina, and of course she does dodge. Still, like I said, we do have quickening, so Blade can use his Bloodlust, and that's going to give him 2 turns. It also removes debuffs and grants Vampiric Thirst. Now honestly, I'm not sure if I should have tried high stakes, but instead, I do go with the Dead by Dawn. The enemy still has bleeding, so that's one good thing about this, and then also we do have to break that shield. So here goes our attack, and we do 0 damage. Alright, so maybe they have an invincible team setup, but seriously, you probably did notice my health, and that means I changed a lot of blasters over to tacticians. This does boost your HP a lot, but it really hurts your attack as well. It also makes for some long fights, and it goes against my normal style. But I mainly had it set up for my defense, and I really didn't want to lose anything there. But still, we definitely have this one well in hand because the enemy team really isn't doing that much damage either. And hey, we get to use the Oni Breaker again, so let's go ahead and go for it. That's going to take care of their mirror reality, and also melt their armor. Then Drax, as always, is going to use Cry for Blood, and by the way, each time this grants him Epiphany. I explained this in the setup video, but that's because of the Manifesting AISO. And this time after damaging their agent, I can definitely tell you that I'm going to use high stakes on Blade's turn. Plus, remember when I used Dead by Dawn? Well, that gave us quickening again, so we can use Bloodlust. So with our first attack, we'll use high stakes, and then we'll go ahead and use Dead by Dawn on Psylocke. This grants us another follow-up attack, and hopefully we can place 3 times bleed. Alright, the first hit lands and we break through her shield. Then, she dodges all the bleeds. I guess that means we won't have an epic Daggerfall finish, but at this point I'm just hoping we can even hit her. After missing with the Guardian, we do get a high stakes, and this does land, so then with Drax I'm going to use Hack and Slash. I just figured I'd mix it up and hope something goes right. So there we go, we do hit, and also get Hemorrhaging Attack. Then the evil enemy Psylocke uses Psychic Knives on my agent. She does take bleed damage because of this, and I think that does put her within high stakes range. Well, let's rephrase that, I know it does. So we'll go ahead and use high stakes, and that's going to be the end of the first fight. Now the second team up is my favorite because we get to use Blade and Skirn. I think most of you know I love the Breaker of Men. I've also changed my agent setup, and you can check all this out in the setup video, as well as my reasons for each team. Now after using the Signpost, I'm going to use the Blackest Void, and that's because Red Hulk used Bulwark. So now that they're disoriented, the enemy agent's also going to use the Signpost. What a copycat. Oh, I should have used that in a Cat Scratch Fever video. And next she hits her own Red Hulk with the Savant Spear. So hey, that worked out pretty well. And now Skirn can use the Burst of Speed, followed by her level 1 Hammering Blow. I'm attacking Iron Fist because I don't like when he heals, and also because he is a scrapper. Our Stomp is normally a finisher, but in this case we miss. That seems to be the running theme of this video. But hey, at least Iron Fist does hit his own agent. On Blade's turn, I'm going to use our level 1, and I'm going to target Red Hulk. This was a tough decision, but I figured let's go ahead and put Bleed on him. Bleed times 3, that is. So with him going next, he's going to start taking that bleed damage. It's going to be over 1600 damage at the start of his turn, and then after he uses Gamma Bomb, he'll take it again. This time on my agent's turn, I didn't exactly pay attention, because if I had, I would have used the Hotshot first. Instead, I used Signpost, and apparently we were exhausted. So once again, that enemy team dodges that stun. Luckily, the enemy only uses the Contingency Plan, and it does very little damage to us. Then Skirn stomps out Iron Fist before he heals, and we're going to try to gain the Quickening by using Dead by Dawn on Red Hulk. He dodges, which is unfortunate, but we still get Quickening. This keeps our master plan in play, which is to finish this fight with Blade. Oh, and he procs a high stakes, so that means he finishes off Red Hulk. Now finally on my agent, I can use the Signpost and the Hotshot, which I've been holding on to this entire game, which believe me has pained me greatly. So here goes nothing, let's hope we get this stun. And the enemy agent dodges the attack. So they're going to use the Signpost, and that quick action will be followed by a lot of healing, and then the Savant Spear. So with She-Hulk, I don't want to finish it, so let's just use a Motion Granite. Any other attack may accidentally knock them out. So that level 2 should be the sweet spot, and then we get to use Blade's Bloodlust. After that, we of course have up to 2 turns if we need them. But with our very first attack, I'm going to use a Dead by Dawn. This will tenderize the enemy agent and make them take more damage from slashing attacks. Or it's just going to finish the fight. So moving on to our final team up, it's going to be Blade and Volstagg. It's a different take on the Warriors 3, I guess you could say, but not at all. Our agent is an honorary member though. Right off the bat, Blade takes a pretty big hit from a Warbringer Axe. You know who else has an axe? That's going to be Volstagg, but we're not going to use it just yet. Instead, I want to start by using Guard the Rear. This will help our team take less damage from attacks, especially if Pepsi Can War Machine wants to hit us. You know, with something like a 21 gun salute. Then with my agent going next, we can still use the Elixir of Recovery, aka the Asgardian Tankard. This will also cause Volstagg to drink, and he's going to gain some rising up buffs. But first, you know what, let's go ahead and use the first seal of Aknazsak. That's going to be as a quick action. Then we can still use the Elixir of Recovery, and that will give us another turn. By the way, we're not using the cube again, so we only used it in 1 out of 3 team-ups. That's not bad, but anyways, let's look at Volstagg's buffs now. There you can see he has Epiphany, because of the Manifesting AISO on his level 2, and he also has some Rising Up buffs because of his Elixir. On that ability, we put the Rising Augmented ISO 8. It's all in the setup video. And next, we're going to use the custom Sword of the Barony to hopefully place bleeding on War Machine. And before I could even finish saying that, of course we miss. So here comes the dreaded 21 gun salute. If it doesn't kill your entire team, then you're going to be alright. That's like a Maddenism. So where John Madden says something like, if you score more points than your opponent, then you're going to win the game. Next with Blade, I'm going to place bleeding ×3 on the enemy agent. I'd like to set up his Dead by Dawn, which is the ability that gives him quickening, but at the same time I'd also like to set up Volstag's Axarang. Either way, that's all wiped out by the Light Fantastic. So let's switch targets, and on Volstag's turn I'll use his level 1 on Iron Patriot. That gets rid of his Mirror Reality and also places bleeding on him. By hook or by crook, we're getting that quickening. Next, our agent takes quite a big hit from Iron Fist, and then also the radiation exposure. So we're going to use Momentary Advantage, followed by the Staff of Asclepios. Well, that's going to be one heal, and then we have another way to heal as well. But first, let's use the second seal of Aknazsak. After this, now watch what happens when we use the custom Sword of the Barony on a target that has bleeding. It's going to restore health to our entire team. So our only target is going to be War Machine. Then even though we're level capped and don't have that much health, our entire team is going to gain over 4,000 health back. I have to say I was pretty impressed, but the Staff of Asclepios definitely helped. Then on Blade's turn, I'm going to use Dead by Dawn, and that will definitely give us quickening. Next up is going to be the enemy agent, and she actually uses the Warbringer Axe on Volstagg. This causes him to use Elixir of Recovery, and so that means he gains back health and also gains some buffs. Now it's time to use the Axarang on War Machine, and this does easily finish him off. Okay, an Iron Fist uses the Iron Fist, but now with our agent, I'll use the third seal, followed by the Sword of the Barony. At this point, we're going to place Despair on the enemy and hopefully a stack of bleeding. So take this, Agent World Chief. Fingers crossed that it hits. Alright, it does, so that means she does have bleeding, which certainly will help out our team. After using Bloodlust, I'm then going to use Dead by Dawn on the enemy agent, who never mind is immune to bleeding because of heavy metal. That's something that could have been brought to my attention sooner. So I use the Bleeding Edge followed by Dead by Dawn again? Interesting, I know. But hey, we did come close to finishing off the agent, who is next going to use the Atom Smasher. That whole sequence of events is beyond me, but what I can tell you is the reason this is included, and by that I mean the reason this battle was in the video, is because of our epic finish. First, with my agent's extra turn, I'm going to use the Staff of Asclepios, and then I'm going to hit Iron Fist with the Sword of the Barony. Now, you know what, let's go ahead and finish off the enemy agent. Just because they're so close to death, I don't want to leave them around. So now with our 3-on-1 advantage, all we have to do is let Iron Fist attack one more time, and yes, we're going to unleash the 4th seal. This doesn't happen too often because most battles are over way before you get to this point. But it is a very epic effect and background change, so let's go ahead and check it out. Once you use the 4th seal, you're going to see a ton of turns pop up, and the entire turn order is just going to be filled with your team. With all these extra turns, we're easily going to knock out Iron Fist. So Blade's up first, and we'll use a Bleeding Edge. Next we'll use a Dead by Dawn, but I'm confident that an Axarang is going to finish this fight. It's also going to finish the video, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. Once again, on the screen in the outro video, there's going to be a link to the setup video, which you can go to if you haven't already seen it. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.